Good morning, and it is a beautiful morning here in Fukuyama, Hiroshima, Japan. This is the final chapter in our autumn 2022 Mount Hiba report. Our Homo report to the one day to be called, inevitably, I think, into being Royal Hibagon Society and Imperial Hibagon College. We are sadly ahead of our time, and consequently sometimes lonely. But we have always subscribed to that idea expressed by M83, the French synthesizer group, in their lyric, "Send your dreams where nobody hides." Nobody hides except the Hibagon. The real-life, flesh-and-blood Oni, whose name comes, you remember, from the root to hide. But nobody human is hiding back there. Nobody human is looking and finding and researching, and that's what gives us so much satisfaction. And you, Team Hibagon. Until there is a Royal Hibagon Society and Imperial Hibagon College, you and I, and my plucky family, and my small circle of friends here on the ground, but it's a growing circle. We make up the best on offer at the moment on these topics, and I am honored with Canadian spelling that you give me your interest, attention, and patience as I make mistakes and misjudgments and have lapses and frailties and phobias and limits of time and endurance and courage and resources, etc. And this is all to say, thank you. This trip was truncated and undermanned because of the typhoon. Nevertheless, we made progress. We made a lot of progress. Confirmed Hibagon activity on Dragon Lord Mountain, including the most artistic and sensitive structure yet found, the Chawanmushi savory egg pudding pot top structure. Very interesting structure. Confirmed Hibagon activity on Tate Eboshi, including the massive structure resembling Superman's Fortress of Solitude, which we take to be a gate into, or barring entry into, the Hibagon Dragon Lord Fortress of Solitude, gated community. Several notable structures and displays of strength on the border of the colossal solar calendar, not yet including the steel cable monstrosity, which we cannot now confirm to have Hibagon origin, but neither can we confirm human origin. We have no reason to decide right now. We are still waiting for the logging manager's long considered reply. Visual contact with the colossal solar calendar, visual contact at long last, and finally, understanding how to access it. Not easy access, but possible. And physical contact with the colossal solar calendar. Here are all of the images I have of our target. I usually present the Google Maps image and the prefectural forest map, but here are the Acme mapper, the Copernicus, the Here We Go, or We Go Here, the Yandex, the Zoom Earth zoomed. Each of these has its good points, and some show fascinating new details, extra details. This CSC, this colossal solar calendar, is more complicated than we can imagine at this point. Interestingly, the Japanese Geographical Survey Institute has excellent terrain detail, but it doesn't show the lines. I don't know what is going on with this one. This is the only image that fails or refuses to show the lines. Anyway, all of these are going to help us to plan our entry to the main part, the interior of the solar calendar. But you can see that lines 6, 7, and 8, the lower three, share a vertex that extends across the river. Across the river. Well, this is exactly where I was standing, I believe, because I was blessed on that day to have a signal, a cell phone signal. I think the typhoon, I don't know how this would work, but I think the typhoon improved cell phone coverage, because last year here I had no signal. But this time I did, and GPS put me right here. Now, here appears to be this humongous scoop, this humongous regular scoop, scooped out of the hillside. At first, I took it for the cradle of a fallen tree. The cradle, I was taught, is the name for the depression caused by a tree's uprooting. But here's the problem. To twist a phrase from the intro of Sasquatch Chronicles, they don't make trees that big. Not here. Once again, you have to forgive my defective forehead cam. Well, the camera's working, but forgive my defective forehead. My daughters call it a 5-head, going on 6-head. From the portion that you can see, you can extrapolate, just complete the circle all the way around. It is a circle with very clean edges. From memory, I'm going to guess and say 6 or 7 meters in diameter. 6 or 7 meters. It's not the cradle of a fallen tree. It is the tip of the vertex. Perhaps there were stones here at one time and they've fallen into the ravine. Perhaps something else was here. I don't know yet. Why would the vertex cross the ravine and river? Well, maybe, this is a theory, maybe this was one of the original viewing platforms. If these trees weren't here, we would have a glorious view of the megalithic lines, the megalithic sun rays radiating up the mountainside for over half a mile, each of 8 lines, perfectly straight and astronomically precise, with lordly, with kingly disregard for the rugged terrain and slope. Having now been here and standing in this spot, it's given me some, I hope, good insight into what it might have looked like. Drawing also on our smaller scale megalithic timepiece discoveries on Mount Zhao. If any artist out there would like to volunteer his or her abilities and time, I could describe to you a wonderful scene. It would be quite a challenge, I think, to try to capture it in art. I can't. I can't do it justice. But if you would like to try, please drop me a line. I'll tell you how I see it. And you could take a stab at it. So we are more than tantalizingly close. We actually made it to the vertex. One vertex. The next step, get down that ravine in one piece. Step after that, make it across the river alive without drowning and without destroying all our cameras and phones. And then we can have a report from right inside the colossal solar calendar / absolutely prime Hiba habitat, being totally cut off from human civilization by that ravine and river, blocked from sight by the hillside in front, totally unseen, unremembered, unknown for all we know, millennia. Think about that, millennia. My fireman friend Smokey, I saw his wife the other day. Let's call her Pokey. She's an acupuncturist. I have an appointment with her next week. It's going to be my first experience with this. I'm asking her to poke me with her needles to do an appetite suppression treatment on me. I've lost 15 pounds since June. 15 pounds. Pretty good, but I'd like to lose a lot more. It's going to help me get back up that ravine so I can come home and finish that report. But anyway, she asked me about a date this month. A date this month, if I was free. I said, yep, not even checking or thinking about my schedule because I would clear and cancel everything. I said, yep, I'm free. Let's go. Let's tear into that solar calendar. She said, oh, sorry, she wasn't talking about that. She wanted to suggest having dinner, the two families, to discuss the project and begin to make plans and arrangements. Smokey and Pokey are working at a different pace here than I am, and it may be a more adult and responsible pace, and it might preserve my life, so I can't be too cross with them. We invited them to dinner. I'll prepare a presentation for them so they can see the challenge. Especially Smokey. Pokey knows more at this date, and she's seen the photos and videos. Smokey hasn't seen them yet. He's only heard them from me and from Pokey. Okay, that's all I can think of for now. I'll call this report finished. You've seen every photo and video. I know some of you, or one of you, has taken issue with this completeness, but you deserve to see it all, and it is optional viewing after all. My style's not for everyone. How could it be? And I might even make the worst videos on YouTube, but I am what I am, and that's all what I am. And I gotta be me. But my policy of sharing is paying off already, as you have helped me with several good observations and ideas and suggestions. And maybe years from now, some keen-eyed person wandering across this strange channel, will spot something that we all missed. Maybe a Hiba dangling upside down from one of these trees, just waiting for me to go by. You never know. But less is not always more, and with this topic, I think more is more. And I'll go back for more just as soon as Smokey and Pokey can get their asses in gear, or I suppose harness, not gear. Okay, next video, some discoveries back at Bingo Akasaka. It's beginning to look more and more like a very promising field, which is good because it's close by. Your assignment is to have a good weekend. And remember that I love you. Thank you.